What's the biggest lie buyers are still believing about today's market?
I think the biggest lie that buyers are telling themselves right now is that they should wait because home prices are going down. That's absolutely not correct. All over the DFW Metroplex and including in Ellis County, prices are not going down. We are seeing a slight correction, but not big drop in prices. The number one mistake sellers are making is emotionally pricing their homes. I hear it every day in all of the appointments that I sit on. Oh, I just built a pool. Oh, I've never lost money on a home. Honestly, you need to look at the market data that your experienced real estate agent that you've chosen to come to your home and really take the advice and price the home properly. In one sentence, I would say sellers need to be realistic and buyers need to be prepared. And what I mean by that is realistic in pricing for sellers and buyers being prepared to understand what's going on in the market and working with a knowledgeable buyer's agent. There's so many misunderstandings with interest rates right now. They're probably never going to go back into the 2s or the 3s. What we are experiencing in this May market to June market is right now, interest rates are lower than they've been in 3 years. So basically, you can refinance the home in the future and just not worry about the rates and just understand that you have an opportunity to purchase a home when prices are going to continue to go up. I think it's a mixture of buyers waiting for rates to drop. There's a lot of national news that throughout the years that rates are going to drop. Then conditions happen in the economy that prohibit those from going down. They've been steady. We're in a major correction, but unfortunately, home prices are just not going to go down. The biggest thing is homes that are overpriced are gonna stay on the market. They'll have a series of price reductions that will have to take place, the bottom line. I think the biggest red flag I see in listing photos online is too much AI editing. Really, you need to showcase a room if it's an empty house with a few images, but you definitely need to still show the original picture without the AI editing. It's just too much going on right now with that. One of the things that I believe sellers really think add value is if you get a new roof or a new HVAC. Unfortunately, those two items do not add value. Yes, in Texas, a swimming pool does add value, a workshop, we see those, but you're not gonna get exactly what you paid for it. I think a lot of agents choose to not do open houses. On my team, we do open houses. They are mostly getting exposure to the seller and their home. So I think that's a good opportunity for us to market it. I personally do not believe that they're overrated, no. I would never recommend anybody use Zillow to price a home. Zillow has not been in your home. They have not seen your floor plan. They do not know your location. They do not know if you're backed up to a busy street. So definitely do not look at Zillow as a value. It's just kind of a gauge, a starting point. I think the biggest thing of homes that are sitting on the market are priced too high. It's unfortunate, it's sad for sellers because you saw your neighbor 12 months ago, 18 months ago get that pricing, but unfortunately, buyers are only gonna pay for what they believe the home is worth. The biggest mistake agents make when advising sellers is they do not tell them what they need to hear. They tell them what they want to hear. Big mistake. Back to the same thing I've said multiple times, emotional pricing the property too high. But honestly, sellers just need to be patient in this market. In the DFW area, our days on the market has increased. So 2 weeks, not a terrible timeline, but really just getting that pricing right where it needs to be and taking the advice of your agent, a knowledgeable agent. I believe, my husband and I, when we sit down in listing appointments, we tell sellers landscaping is a great, adding new mulch, changing out the lighting, doing paint touch-ups, those type of things. Paint is cheap. So those type of things really set you apart from in comparing to new construction, which is a big thing that most pre-owned home sellers are dealing with these days. The financial mistake that they're making is waiting. To be quite honest with you, I really believe that prices are going to continue to go up. You cannot sit around and wait on the rate. You need to look at the opportunities that are out there, including new construction with incentives. A lot of sellers are paying incentives and concessions as well, which can buy rates down. Definitely. Buyers are very focused on getting the perfect rate. And like I said, you could buy down the rate with concessions from a seller or incentives from a builder. I think the one thing that they should stop caring about immediately goes back to the interest rate. They really need to be caring about their payment and their monthly fee. We don't want buyers to go over their budget. So I think they need to really be focusing on their monthly payment and not care as much about the rate and just the full picture. How much is taxes, insurance, and all of that's going to be on their monthly rate in the home. I think the buyer that is prepared, that understands, and that gets with a knowledgeable buyer's agent. They need to pay more attention, once again, to what their monthly budget's going to be so they don't get overextended, and just the neighborhood. And I really believe that they just need to do a lot of research and work with an agent that's super knowledgeable. Definitely, sellers need to understand that, and I talk about this in all of the listing appointments that I go on, that you're just in competition with new construction and the incentives that they offer, even on an older historical home like we have here in Waxahachie. The market is not going to crash. Do you know that there's only been one real estate crash in the history of the United States, and that was in 2007. It lasted until 2012. National news will scare you. They will tell you that there is a crash that's happened or it's coming. There has been a correction of a real estate correction in pricing in the DFW area, but there's not going to be a real estate crash. There's no indications of that. So waiting, you're only going to get it to where you pay higher in the future. If it's not the right time to buy for you personally and your family right now, understandably, but waiting for a crash is not even a thing. Well, obviously the biggest change has been social media and all of the AI and the new, technology that we're experiencing. Buyers have everything at their fingertips within seconds. That has definitely evolved in the last 20 years. Well, I think for me personally, the funny type videos or the videos that are done on social media that are not about the property itself or about the helping a buyer or seller in this market, I am more about helping and getting the information out there about my listing. So I think the gimmicky type stuff, in my opinion, is where it's just not needed in this area. I think the advice that I'd give to a seller or buyer in this market really is that a buyer needs to really do their research. I said this already, but just get with an experienced team that can help them and navigate them through the process. And on the seller, it's just the most important thing is just to be realistic in your pricing. I tell my sellers all of the time that we're getting exposure on your home when we do an open house. There's a lot of agents definitely here locally that don't believe in open houses. I am not one of those agents. I just truly believe that it just gives us another way to market the home. A lot of agents are just using it for property descriptions. We are taking it to the next level and really trying to get into the AI. There's so many things that it can do to help you and to make your business more efficient. The first thing I would do if I had to start over in a new market, like if I moved to Florida, that would be great. But I would get with an experienced, knowledgeable broker that is very drilled into the area that they live in, and I would partner with them. We are seeing a lot of luxury buyers in the market right now. People are continuing, wages have gone up, and people are making great money, and there's just a very good niche for luxury buyers. Homes that were even last year that were on the market are selling, lakefront properties, all of those type of things. People are building beautiful luxury homes. What I believe that they're doing now is they're just more selective in the areas and the finish out of the type of properties that they're looking for. I think this, just in the last couple of years, it's, date the rate, marry the house. Everybody is kind of tired of that little statement. But realistically, rates can be refinanced in the future. So I think that's kind of something that people are tired of hearing. I think the one thing I would recommend that sellers stop doing is just not taking our advice. We have very detailed communications that we provide to sellers that give all kinds of tips on staging and decluttering and fixing their landscaping up. So if they would just take that advice, it really does help the situation and get their home sold and off the market quicker. If I was buying a home today, I would personally avoid areas that are just maybe that I know are not going to retain their value, bottom line. That prices are not going to go down. That is just, the message is just not resonating with people. I have that question asked all the time. So I think that's the biggest thing. We're just have a market is going through a correction here in the DFW area, but we're not having a crash. We've had this happen just recently where someone bought or opened a new line of credit. So they definitely should not open a new line of credit. They should not buy a truck or a car or make any changes to their financial outlook. I think a true advisor is someone that really studies market data, that really is very involved, and that is not someone that is a part-time agent, someone that is just knowledgeable and really cares about working for their clients and providing details, not giving advice, not making decisions. I tell my team all the time, and I cannot tell you how many times agents come into my office on a weekly basis and tell me that the other agent on the other side is difficult because every time they work with them, they won't do any repair. Their clients won't do any repairs, or that they're making decisions for their clients, or it sounds like they are. So I instruct my team. And I really hope that this reflects on the clients that we work with in our team, that we don't make decisions for you, that we we provide advice, guidance, and the knowledge that we have, but definitely do not make decisions for our clients.